Today is a big day, and we're excited to introduce you to some of these really terrific agencies. And if you have some time, maybe do some of the one-on-one matchmaking with the agencies when we move over to the other venue. And today we're going to have Lily Keefe here from Sbdc. And Lily's going to give you a really quick welcome. So go ahead, Lily.
Hi, so just want to, on behalf of USDOT Small Business Transportation Resource Center, just want to say thank you for joining us. Our program is funded by U.S. Department of Transportation Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. We work closely with small businesses who wants to do business with DOT funded recipients. So if you know the city, the local agencies that receive US DOT money, even for only for $1, we provide free technical assistance. But I don't like to compartmentalize my service, but I work closely with other agencies like PTAC and other resources. So there is no wrong door to go. Our assistance is free. So check us out. I mean, work with us, and we provide technical assistance, business counseling, and bonding assistance. So if you're in the construction industry, you need to get bonded. So we work closely with our bonding producer, and we provide support service for our firms to get bonded. And again, the service are free. We are here to help you. I mean, isn't that wonderful? Your success is our success. So it's a partnership. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much to Leslie. She's the champion. She makes this happen. I mean, I really can't say enough. Thank you so much, Leslie. So, and we're gonna do it more, right? So
we are.
Thank you so much. And then I think our next presenter is Colin here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Leslie. Really appreciate it. So I'm really glad that you guys have joined here and are taking some time to ensure that you will be able to compete for and be part of the procurement process for all sorts of different projects that are going to be happening in Clallam County over the next couple of years. The work that's been done by Leslie and Lily and Jessica and Graham is extraordinary, and so really want to thank them for that. By and large, businesses in our county have not been engaged in this space at all for decades, and so we have recognized at the Clallam County Economic Development Council that the greatest area of leakage that we experience from what's being spent by local governments, but also when the state does projects here or the federal government does projects here, that money is going to companies outside of our area and of our county. And that's true also for Jefferson County. We have not historically had businesses that compete in that space. And we are an economically distressed county that has a lot of wealth with retirees, but then the working class, those people are above poverty range by mean, but overall it's just barely over. So we are working hard to change that. And one of the things that we can do in order to affect an increase in the median wage of our county is to get folks involved in these really lucrative contracts that our taxpayers are paying for. So we so thank you for this. I intend for our EDC to invest in having a PTAC counselor to continue to provide business advising to businesses for Clallam County going forward, because it is so worthwhile. And, we're just trying to promote this as an opportunity for our local businesses to, have some revenue so we can improve our local economically distressed county. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Colleen. It's always good to have you participate. And we look forward to moving forward with Clallam and Jefferson counties and everybody on the Olympic Peninsula to get them where they need to go. Up next, we have the city of Port Angeles, and representing them today, we have Thomas Hunter, who is the Director of Public Works and Utilities. And Thomas is going to give us another overview as to what's going on in the city of Port Angeles.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me today. It looks like I'm 1 minute earlier than scheduled, so I get 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, no, really appreciate everybody putting this together and reaching out. I think it's an absolutely awesome effort. And we do have a couple of things that we wanted to talk about today relative to upcoming projects. I think it's really important, and probably something that you'll hear echoed throughout today's conversation, is that, you know, we talk about these projects and opportunities that are coming up, but there's a whole host of things that are going on multiple years out. And the things that I'm going to cover today are really immediate opportunities and projects that we want to highlight within the community that are not only great opportunities to see capital projects move forward for the community, but also we kind of view it more as partnership opportunities to create some of those long lasting relationships and see even more capital projects move forward. So with that, I'll just go ahead and jump in. You know, we've got a really exciting project moving forward right now. That's our Lincoln Street Safety Project. You might have read about it in the PDN here recently. That's a project that's focusing on improved pedestrian and bicycle safety along Lincoln Street between 1st and 8th Street. Really a great partnership project between the city and the state, being WashDOT. This improvement, while it's not aimed at some of the underground utility related items, those projects are coming a little bit later. This really is focusing on multimodal transportation. It takes an awful lot of coordination with a lot of different local jurisdictions and entities. That project is set to advertise for bids in May with an engineer's estimate of $1.1 to $1.4 million. And we're right on the brink of getting that ready to go. So we're excited about that project. We think that there's going to be a couple of projects that'll be a result of this project, because we think the community is really going to like the way that it turns out. So we're excited about that one, and we should see that one going in May. Additionally, less of a construction project and more of a consultant opportunity that's certainly going to turn into some capital projects moving forward is our pavement management plan. This is a project that the city is going to embark on in the fall. And it really will assist us with identifying street maintenance priorities for the over 310 lane miles that we have here in the city. Rating the overall pavement condition index, really looking at base course type studies, and highlighting the impacts of different funding levels on pavement condition index, as well as trying to address some of our deferred maintenance issues that we have for a transportation network that is as old as the one that we have. This is really going to be a comprehensive look at our transportation network, not only as to how things are going to get reconstructed and in what order, but a lot of design elements and assumptions will go into this plan. And once this plan is fully created, then we'll really look at implementation and really utilizing this plan as a driver for many, many other capital projects that are going to be coming up, especially as it relates to redesigning our transportation network and focusing on utilities underground as well. So that's an exciting project. It's a big lift, and we should see that coming out sometime here, probably RFQs in the fall. Another big one that a lot of people have probably heard of is the Ray Street Complete Street project, kind of a legacy project, if you will, for the community. It's been out there for quite some time, and we are excited to announce that we're going to be advertising bids for construction for phase 1 in June of this year, with an engineer's estimate of $3.5 to $4 million. It is important to highlight that this is only phase 1, and we do know that there will be at least one additional phase following this project. But it really is a gateway project, and again highlights an exceptional partnership between the National Park Service, the state, local jurisdictions and entities that surround it, but a gateway project nonetheless. And so we're excited. It's following a similar timeline with some other great general governmental service projects that we've got going on, especially in that corridor. Really some great civic improvements, and seeing the Dream Playground get rebuilt. What an opportunity for an area that we see as an economic driver here in the not too distant future with some of these improvements. We're really, really excited about that one. We continue to have, and I think it's important to note, an ongoing pavement preservation project within our capital portfolio. Right now, we're really focusing on prioritizing and bumping up some of our chip seal projects, and we have 3 large chip seal projects coming in next year. So again, another roadway preservation project, and we anticipate that those designs will be complete here through the fall and the winter and ready to advertise for next year. We do have a large sanitary sewer, what we call a CIPP, a cured in place pipe liner restoration project, which includes the recoating of 11 sewer manholes. And this project is located between South Lincoln, between 1st and 8th. So this is going to run in conjunction with that Lincoln Street Safety Project. You know, there's never one prescription for addressing a transportation corridor, and oftentimes we have to look at what's underneath. So we are excited to see this project move forward. For anybody who was around for the large sinkhole that we had in Lincoln, this is directly related to addressing some of the concerns that came up from that. That project is scheduled for this summer, and bids are out now with an engineer's estimate of $650,000 to $800,000. Another exciting project that we have coming up is our N Street Outfall project. It's our #1 project for our stormwater capital facilities plan. This project is scheduled to replace an old stormwater outfall that really takes a large drainage basin right through a residential area on the west side of town over on N Street. Construction is scheduled for this summer, and design is almost wrapped up with an engineer's estimate of $200,000 to $300,000. One of the things that the city is embarking on pretty heavily right now as a part of our ADA transition plan is a project called the Francis Street ADA Upgrade. So this project will take place between Georgiana to 8th Street, which will be installing new ADA compliant curb ramps. We are scheduled for that project to go out for summer of this year with an engineer's estimate of $200,000 to $300,000. And I will just note that a council decision was made earlier or later on last year that we are going to be prioritizing some additional funding towards multimodal transportation and ADA accessibility related projects. So this is really just the tip of the iceberg as it relates to ADA accessibility within our transportation network. So we're excited to have that additional funding resource to be able to allocate towards projects like this. We also have the Olympic Discovery Trail Repair Project. This again is another kickoff project scheduled to go out this summer. And this is a riprap repair, ditching, and maintenance contract that'll go out primarily focusing between the city pier all the way to Morris Creek with an engineer's estimate of about $80,000 to $100,000. Again, we know that the Olympic Discovery Trail is such a vital part of this community and something that has seen a lack of maintenance over the past period of time. And so we're excited to get back in there and really take a comprehensive look as to how we can better maintain and produce future capital upgrades to that. And so this is really just the first step of just getting a couple of the problem areas addressed, and we're excited for that project as well. The last project that I'll mention for this year is we have a large generator relocation project scheduled for this summer. This will be taking place down at our Rainy Well, which is the source for all of our potable water within the community here in Port Angeles. This is our Rainy Well generator relocation scheduled for summer of 2021 with an engineer's estimate of $100,000 to $200,000. Now, I only mentioned a couple of the ongoing projects that are immediately either being advertised for or about to be advertised for. But I can assure you, we have a lot of projects coming up. Our capital facilities plan is available on the city's website. We are always happy for anybody to reach out and have conversations about upcoming projects. we're in the middle of completing a wastewater comprehensive plan right now. Our water comprehensive plan has already been completed, and in conjunction with our pavement management plan, we see a lot of capital improvements being solicited for here in the next year or two. So unfortunately, I will not be able to attend the spot event, but I'm always available by email or phone. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to network and opportunities.
So thank you, Thomas, for your overview. And before you leave today, if you would go ahead and put in your contact information into the chat, then we'll make sure everybody gets that information. So thank you again. And because we're on a pretty tight timeline, next we have the city of Sequim and Mr. Matt Klontz. He's a PE working for the Sequim Public Works as their director. And so Matt, if you're ready, let's go ahead.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, it's nice to be here this afternoon. I guess it is now. I'm just gonna kind of pick up where Thomas left off. The city of Sequim, like Port Angeles, is growing, it's booming. We have a very vibrant community, and there's a number of capital improvement projects that we have lined up. And similar to Port Angeles, our capital improvement program is available on our website. And like Port Angeles, we're always happy to talk about upcoming projects. So please feel free to reach out to us, call us, email us, ask questions. But before I dive into, which projects are out on the near-term horizon, I want to talk a little bit about how do you even find out about upcoming bid opportunities, and how do you even participate in bids? So the best way to participate in bids here at the city of Sequim is to do several things. And the first thing is to go to the city of Sequim website. There's a tab that says businesses on the top. You click that, there's a bid and RFP link. You want to click that link, and then you can sign up to be on the city list serve. So when new bid opportunities are advertised and announced, you will receive a notice of that opportunity. The second thing to do is to sign up on what they call a roster through the MRSC website. Because of public procurement laws, certain opportunities aren't necessarily advertised, say in a newspaper, but they're notified through this roster. And in order to bid on the project, you have to be on the roster. So it's really important that you have your name on the roster. We do many projects through the MRSC roster. Basically, anything that's $300,000 or less can be potentially pushed out through the MRSC roster. So that's kind of a high dollar amount. So as you can imagine, we take advantage of using the roster because it simplifies the advertisement and bidding process. So 2 steps: sign up on the city website, also sign up for the MRSC roster. And on that roster, you can select Clallam County, and that is, will set the stage for not only receiving City of Sequim notices, but I'm guessing agencies like Port Angeles use the MRSC roster as well. It's very common for public agencies to use this roster. And I guess, probably the third way that you hear about projects is through the Peninsula Daily News. These would be the projects that are greater than $300,000. In that sense, in those cases, we have to advertise in the legal paper of record, and that's the Peninsula Daily News. Okay, so another heads up. Everybody should probably know that we are anticipating as a public agency a big influx of federal funding. And with that, there's going to be a number of projects that we're hoping to deliver. So the way that we deliver those projects will vary depending on the type of work, but those tools I just described, the website, the roster, and the Peninsula Daily News will be used for those projects too. So that's how you'll hear about bidding opportunities. I'm looking at the clock. I have a few minutes here. I'm going to cover some of the upcoming public works, capital improvement projects we have on the near-term horizon. One of them is a federally funded pavement overlay project. We will be overlaying a portion of Washington Street. The portion that we're overlaying is from the 9th Avenue roundabout to the River Road roundabout. And the engineer's estimate for that project is about $700,000. Another project that is noteworthy is we have a sewer lift station that we're looking to replace. The engineer's estimate for that lift station is about $400,000. It includes a new generator, a handful of other electronics and controls, as well as a prepackaged pump station. So both those projects will be advertised because they're over the $300,000 price. So they will be advertised in the Peninsula Daily News. But as a standard of practice, we still push the notice out through our listserv from the city website, and we still push out a notice through the MRSC roster. So you will hear about it when those projects hit the street. Maybe one other project I want to talk about, or actually projects I should bring up as it relates to the city of Sequim, is land development by private companies. Sequim is booming. There is a high demand for housing. There are a number of home builders in the area who are clamoring to build homes. If you're in the home building industry, but you're not building in Sequim, it might be a market that you want to look into. There's a number of subdivisions that are in the works going through our land use approval process, and it could result in anywhere from, say, 200 to 500 single family home lots that could be built upon. And this is in addition to some of the single family home lots that already exist in the city. Okay, so with that, I think I'll call it good.
Well, thanks, Matt. You know, it's so upbeat to hear of all the potential projects, you know, going on in the local communities and on the peninsula. You know, it's so informative today. I'm really thankful that we have this great roster of participants. And also when Matt was talking about the MRSC rosters, all of these materials we have available in our Dropbox that was sent to you as a link for today's event. So look for more information and all the slideshows and PDF files in our Dropbox. So up next, we have from the Port of Port Angeles, Mr. Chris Hartman, the Director of Engineering.
Thank you, Leslie. Yeah, and thank you, Matt, for explaining the MRSC roster. That's actually a lot of what I was going to talk about because we use the same roster as Sequim. So he already went over that in quite some detail. We use that for pretty much every project, even the larger project. We also push out through the roster just because it's a good way of notifying people. So what I thought I'd do is share my screen because I think the Port of Port Angeles may be not as well understood as cities and counties. So I'm gonna just pull up an overview really quick showing, here's Port Angeles. This is the majority of the port ownership is in the shaded area. Here along the waterfront, we have our operating marine terminals, marina, marine trades area, and log yard along the waterfront. And then we have the airport here in Port Angeles. And additionally, we own and operate the John Wayne Marina in Sequim and the CQ Airport out just west of Clallam Bay. So just like the other public agencies, we do public procurement. We have to advertise for bids in the paper of general circulation for any project over 300,000. We also advertise any of our larger projects in the Seattle Daily Journal of Commerce, just to ensure we're getting especially when you do a lot of marine projects. You know, our current projects, I'll go through kind of our list of ongoing projects that are going currently under construction. We have a a float repair project in our marina down here in the boat haven. We had some damage from a boat about a year ago, and so we're having some floats replaced here. That's about a $200,000 contract. We have general contractor Lakeside Industries is doing a parking lot resurfacing project here on the east side of the Boat Haven Marina. We have a fuel float replacement project that has been bid and awarded, and we'll start construction here around November and December. So it's a replacement of a fuel float. That's about a $1.5 million project. And those for the port, those are our more substantial public works projects for this season. So we're kind of underway and in the middle of our construction projects, but we do have some upcoming projects. Next year we have a sheet pile bulkhead project that will be going out to bid likely at the end of this year, early next year. It's this, if you're familiar, it's this cofferdam sheet pile here. We're doing some rehabilitation, upland improvements. That's about a $2 million project or $2.5 million project. We're in the planning stages in obtaining funding for a couple of very large projects that will be out there a couple of years in 2023. Our Marine Trades Center development, currently working with granting agencies and obtaining funding, but we're planning to start major site development down here at the former Penn Ply Mill site in 2023. Redevelopment would be about $11 million for site improvements, all the utilities, grading and paving and prep for building sites, for boat repair and boat building. And then additionally, right around 2023 as well, we'll be doing a substantial redevelopment, site improvement, and stormwater treatment within our log yard. And that'll be about a $12 to $15 million project. So we have some very big projects in the works and a couple projects ongoing this year. Beyond that, there's a whole host of projects that you can see if you go to the port's website, www.portofpa.com, and you can look at our budget. And we have all the way out to a 5-year and 20-year capital improvement program. So you can look at some of those longer term programs. The port, we do probably more marine work than anyone else around here. So a lot of our projects have been marine based, but we also have a lot of upland industrial property as well. So with that, that is, I think, all I have to share. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Chris. And, we encourage all of our panelists today to be sure to put your contact information in the chat. And if you have any additional resources that you want to share to the whole group, if you send it to either me or Jessica, we will put it in the digital Dropbox for everybody else to access. So thanks, Chris. All right, so next up we have Clallam County, Mr. Joe Denisi, who is the division manager in engineering. So I saw Joe just came on not too long ago, so we'll turn it over to Joe.
Yep, I'm on here. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I see my camera must not be working, but I don't have anything to show you anyways. I'm just going to kind of talk to you and tell you about our projects and where to find them on our website, basically. So, we're public works, so we have roads, bridges, and 2 sewer systems right now. So that's kind of the type of work we do. And all of our work is planned out on a 6-year basis. So on our Clallam website, clallam.net, you can go to roads and you can go to public works there, and you'll see a listing of our projects there. I have a summary. I don't have I can't hold a candle to Chris there on his presentation. You had a nice background there. I'm just going to kind of go at old school paper here. we have a number of road projects coming up, and we have a number of sewer projects coming up. This summer we have a roundabout down at Squim in the intersection of the Squim Dungeness Road and Woodcock Road. It's an interesting project, might have some opportunities for subs there. That should be bidding in the next month or so. And also in Squim area, we have 2 separate sewer line extensions, small projects, might be ideally suited to a contractor that maybe hasn't bid with us in the past because they're just small projects. One of them is off of a county road, so there's not much traffic involved there. And both of those are listed on our website for Public Works. Just to drop a name on that, those 2 sewer lines are called, one is Gupster line extension. It's a little 4-inch pressure sewer. A pretty easy job to bid, I think. And then the Savannah is the other sewer project. It's a line extension, 8-inch sewer, some manholes, pretty short. I'm would be excited to see some new bidder, or not new bidders, but some bidders that were maybe weren't normally bidding large public works jobs. This one's so small. I think it'd be kind of cool for a smaller firm to get their feet wet on that one. So also this summer, I'm gonna switch back to roads. We have a Dry Creek Road project west of Port Angeles that we'll be bidding hopefully in the next month. And it's a straight road project. We'll have your normal type of road work involved, and a water line and a gravity sewer line. So there's some opportunities there possibly for subcontractors that wouldn't normally be involved in a road project there. That's Dry Creek Road this summer. Should be bidding soon in the next month. A little bit longer term out there, we have a number of sewer projects out in the CQ Clallam Bay area. The county was successful in obtaining a grant and loan package from Department of Ecology out there. And so we're got a lot of infiltration inflow in our sewer system out there. And so we're wanting to replace a lot of the pipelines out there, either by old school digging them up and replace them. Possible pipe bursting would be an interesting project, I think, to do. And some of these we're going to be designing and delivering in-house, not using a consultant. And so we've kind of broke them up ourselves. We're smaller smaller organization. And so we've broken down to smaller manageable projects for us, which might work good for smaller contractors as well. And that's in CQ Clallam Bay, West, Clallam County there. This is about 4 or 5 contracts that may be over the next 5 years, and that would be under our Public Works website there. So the last one that I have for you guys to kind of let you know is in the works is Dungeness Levee, big project on the Dungeness River on the down near the mouth of the Dungeness River. So levee back project that might have some opportunities for smaller firms to subcontract with. It's a large project, multi-million dollars as a prime. It's going to have a lot of small things, guardrail, geogrid, lots of geogrid out there, some retaining walls, things like that may work good for subs or smaller contractors to work with the prime contractor. And that's heating up to probably bid again in the next month and a half or so. And that's the Dungeness Levee Setback Project is the name of that one. And the thing to keep in mind there is this is going to be a 2-contract project. So look for that next year, a second contract also for the Dungeness Levee Setback. I think for us, Clallam County Roads and Public Works. That's it for now. I hope I didn't go too long.
Well, Joe, you are just perfect. Thank you for sharing that information. And I'm sure that our participants that will be looking for opportunities will be knocking on your door. So
Excellent.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Laurel.
Okay, so next we have Clallam PUD, and we have the tag team of Tom Martin, who's water and wastewater, and Mike Hill, engineering manager. And they have a slideshow that you guys want me just to go ahead and run that for you?
I'll see if I can share my screen here,
Okay,
if you give me a permission.
yeah.
This is Mike Hill. I'll start first and then Tom will follow up the last half. It says mine's still disabled for sharing.
Okay, so,
Mike, you should be good to go now.
All right. Yeah, it says it's sharing the screen. Do you see it?
yes, we do.
Okay. So I was going to go over our future contracting projects and our bidding processes. We too use MRSC, as Matt explained on his process, but we break it down into different levels by how many quotes we need to get. So a project up to $25,000 we'll only send to 1 to 3 people. 25 to 60 grand, it's 3 or more quotes, and 60, 150, 5 or more. And projects from 150,000 to 350, we send to all of the contractors within the category. For projects over $350,000, it's a formal contract. You don't have to be on the MRSC list, and we advertise through local newspapers, Building Exchange, the PUD website, and the Daily Journal of Commerce. Not necessarily all of those, but a variety of them depending on the type of job. We have a formal bid opening, and then bids are evaluated and awarded to the lowest bidder that's met all the requirements. We have a link on our website showing how to get to the MRSC roster instructions. If you go to the PUD website and go to contractors and projects, and then scroll down to the very bottom of the page, it'll get you to this, and that gives you links to get to the MRSC roster. I've also submitted some other information I think that's available on your download that has a flyer and more specific instructions on how to actually fill out your company information on that roster. I'll go over a few projects that we have on our local infrastructure. Our PUD Central Warehouse in Carlsberg has a few projects to upgrade. One is drains and gutters in 2021, estimate of $200,000. In 2022, we've got an LED conversion, estimate of $300,000, and a skylight replacement of $275,000. And then in 2023, we've got a roof project that could be as much as $750,000. We also do a lot of high voltage electrical projects, but locally, there's probably maybe only one company that may be able to bid on those projects. We have a separate pre-qualified list to be able to bid on those projects, and the process for that is also on our website. That type of work is typically transmission and distribution, power line rebuilds, and substation rebuilds. Just for you guys' information, you'll see our transmission distribution rebuild from our airport road along Highway 101 to Oak Street this year. And then also along with that, we're rebuilding airport substation. In 2022, we will be extending that transmission rebuild from Oak Street all the way into by Peninsula College, and then doing a rebuild of our Forks substation. That's all I've got. And the next slide is for Tom Martin. So let's see, right. Oh, I grabbed the wrong PowerPoint. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see.
I've just got a list, Mike, so I
All
can.
right, go ahead with yours. And
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tom Martin. I'm the manager of the Water and Wastewater Department at the Clallam County PUD. And we also do a fair amount of contracting for professional services. I don't think that's been covered by Mike. So, we have small, medium, and large projects for engineers and surveyors. And yeah, we do use the MRSC rosters for them. And for the small jobs, we just really, a lot of our firms that we work with are on the MRSC list, and we select based on PUD experience. And medium projects, a little bit larger, we go to the rosters and look at their SOQs a little closer, and we'll select 3 or more to ask for more detailed SOQs for related specifically to the project. And then for large projects, we'll go out to the DJC and put it on our website and local newspapers, especially if we have some federal or state funding. And so typically our RFQs going out to professional services have the following sections in them, and we have different scoring amounts for each section. Project understanding, recent experience, and relevant to the project, key personnel, project approach, level of effort, like labor hours for different labor categories, and client service quality. And for very large projects, we'll actually have interviews as well. And we'll select both based on the most qualified and negotiate the scope, schedule, and budget after that. So our projects really are split up into kind of how we organize our department. We have operations and then capital projects and engineering. So our operations projects, a lot of them can be handled by our crew, the really small projects. But we need support for things that our crew are not qualified to do, like electrical upgrades and larger main extensions where we really don't have the equipment, excavators and so forth to put in the mains or make major repairs. Asphalt repair, PRV maintenance, we contract that out. Building maintenance, like Mike was saying, roofs and gutters. Well replacements, safety improvements, like for reservoir or water storage reservoirs. And also, backflow preventers for a cross control program. Actually, the costs for putting in backflow preventers are really borne by the customers. So there's a lot of commercial customers that we have that really should be retrofitting their facilities to put in backflow preventers that they don't have right now. So that's a possible opportunity, but not through the PUD. Have to go through the customers. And on the wastewater side, we have 4 small community on-site septic systems where we do drain field and distribution piping upgrades. And possibly we'll be doing some septic tank inspections and contracting that out. And so some of our, the number of customers range from, 20 to 40 in a lot of our, in our 4 systems. So that's our operations projects. Our capital projects, we have a long-term plan laid out, and it's listed in our water system plan, which can be accessed from our website under the water page. But that changes an awful lot. The water plan is updated every 6 years. And in between, there's a lot of changes that can happen and priorities too. But some of the larger projects that we have that we started already on pre-construction, because we received a Public Works Board loan for this, and we hope that that'll be following up with construction next year for Clallam Bay and CQ for infrastructure upgrades, pipeline replacement, water system pipeline replacement, and we're looking at relocating our reservoirs, at least the ones in CQ. Over in our Port Angeles composite water system, which is just east of Port Angeles, for our Mount Angeles water system, we're going to replace the lower pump station. And in Carlsberg, we have a new well, a new source for the expansion of our water system to cover all of the urban growth area there. And that will be, a well was drilled already by the county. We're collaborating with the county on this. As soon as we get our water rights, things will be put into motion, developing a plan for building out the well into a new source and have a transmission line run for about 3/4 mile from the well site at the end of Carlsberg Road to the end of our water system to connect up there. That could also include some storage, new reservoirs, and distribution system throughout the urban growth area. And the total project cost for that, which could be over several years, is about $5.5 million. So that's probably our largest project. Emergency generator installations for our pump stations. We're doing that more often. We have a howler well up in Happy Valley in our Evergreen water system that needs rehabilitation. Over again, back towards Port Angeles composite, there's the transmission line coming from the city where we purchase water wholesale. The transmission line is called the Morris Creek line, and that is in serious need of upgrade, and that's upcoming. Also, we're reservoir expansions and replacements up in Evergreen and again up in the upper Mount Angeles water system. There's washtop projects out there for the culvert replacements where there are pretty extensive water main relocation or replacement. We're pretty much through those already. There's a couple more left over. I'm not sure how much more there's going to be involved in that, but it's ranged up to $400,000 for those projects for the water. Also over in Port Angeles is one of our oldest water systems. We started operating it and owning it in the 40s. And so there's a lot of AC pipe, old AC pipe and steel pipe that needs replacement there. And then on the wastewater side, we're doing some gravity collection lines and a small lift station upgrade as well. That's out in Diamond Point. That's all I have for now. So thank you for your attention.
Well, thanks, Tom, and thanks, Mike, for giving us a lesson or two on all things PUD. Be sure to put your contact information in the chat. And, I know that a number of us are all going to be over on Spot. And so if you, if any of these agencies want to connect with you, you could do an individual chat right now and set up an appointment over in Spot, and we can give you a private office to work in. So thanks again. And up next, we have Janet Toph from the Small Business Development Center, SBDC. And Janet is a huge partner with Washington PTAC and with SBTRC. And so Janet, we started a little bit early for you, so you have a couple extra minutes. If you would like to give us your overview of SBDC.
Sure. Thank you so much. And you got my name right. Toph is right. It's like the word both. Sure. I'm going to give you my 30-second spiel. And I work at it all the time, just like any business owner does, to make sure that we get it all in there. So confidential, no cost, valued, one-to-one advice to for-profit business owners in areas of startups, how to sustain through COVID-19, to growing entities and advising through succession, how to figure out how to get bonding, how to do the business plan, and more. And there's more than 30 of us across Washington State in 25 different locations. A registered client receives free confidential advice and notifications of webinar meetings concerning all levels of business issues. We get you ready for your next step. My territory is Snohomish County, Washington State, but there are Sbdc, Small Business Development Center, offices located across the country. And also, yeah, the state. Now, we are people who help people, and we are the luckiest people to be able to provide our services to people who need them. We help business owners prepare for bonding again, similar to the preparation for attaining funding. The Sbdc, again, is not the Small Business Administration. We are funded through a line in Congress by half of our amount required for our program. Funding is matched by usually colleges across the United States, and today in Washington State and Snohomish is Washington State University, and other municipalities and economic entities wishing for a sustainable and resilient business community. That's what we bring to the table. So we, again, no cost, no fee services, confidential as your doctor, your attorney, or your banker. We are non-judgmental. In other words, safety cones are around you as a client. We just need to know at what stage you are in your business. These are the questions why we ask the questions that we do. We need to know what area you are at so that we can bring you forward. We don't provide too much information to you, but we also don't want to provide too little. So I have 5 questions that I ask in all of my clients to have responses, because I use your responses as the doctor uses the MRI or the CT scan or the x-rays to see inside, so I'll know what to advise you on and how best to move forward. So the first question is, what business do you do? Number 2 is, why you? What do you bring to the table? What expertise? Why now? What's going on in your life, the life of your market, that makes you believe you should have this business going on or make that change in the business? Who are your customers and who are your competitors? Because you need to know both of those, because your competitors definitely know you, and you need to know what is good and not good that they are doing so you can fill a niche. We provide valued advising. We're certified business advisors, all of us here in Washington State. That's not the same as all across the United States. We do go through similar to a 6-month master's degree when we start, and then there's continual ongoing training for our certification so that we are up to speed with all business issues. We have, again, 35 in Washington State certified business advisors with vast experiences in 25 different locations with other states as well, and part of our network. I don't profess to know it all, but I know those who do know it, the answers. So we have an impressive and confidential network. Pandemic, what's going on? What does Sbdc do? People helping people again. We notify clients of funding opportunities. We assist clients with preparation of funding applications, one-to-one or through webinars. We process through the applications with a client many times. We contact during or after the application process. We provide updates concerning the funding sources, and there have been information that changes hourly, not just weekly, daily, or monthly. And then we answer and work with clients if they receive funding. After they receive it, what do they do with that? Are there strings that are attached to those fund uses? And then we work with those clients who did not receive the funding and help them look at strategies to sustain and open back up, hopefully. Who do we work with or refer our clients to? Small Business Transportation Resource Center, the SBTRC. We work hand in hand, as mentioned previously, with Procurement Technical Assistance Center, PTAC, government contracting, Manufacturing Extension Partnership as well, MEP, and the Associated General Contractors Association, and 35 other free resource providers serving Snohomish County, or who I have in my toolbox. What do we help with besides pandemic issues? Preparation for starting the business. How do I hire my first employee? How do I price my product or service? How do I find funding for my expansion? Most of all, though, how do I make more profit, more money in my pocket? How do I prepare for funding my business? When do I know to expand my business? We talk that all through, work through processes. How do I market my business? But wait a minute, who is my market? And we help clients move through that process to understand. And then how do I know if I should change my product or service? We walk through that whole situation. We provide templates, we provide one-to-one resources, webinars, and again, all of that. Reach out to your local SBDC because they will know the aspects of your region and be able to turn you on to the resources nearest to you. Also tell others about the SBDC, those who count on you and those who you count on. Thank you for allowing me to speak today, and I am reachable by email, janet.toth@wsbdc.org, and I'm sure the providers will have that with you to be available as well. And I don't answer the phones because I'm in meetings like this or with clients all day long. So email is the best way to reach me. So thank you again for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Janet. We look forward to having you partner with PTAC and SBDC down the road. And so I think we're at a small break right now. And when we come back at 1:05, we will have David Waltz from the Naval, it's the Naval Undersea Water Warfare, excuse me, Naval Undersea Warfare Center Division, Keyport. That's a mouthful. So we'll just, stand up, stretch your legs, and we'll turn it over to David. So thank you so much. This ought to be an exciting session on naval warfare and undersea issues and everything else combined. So take it away.
All right, great. Thank you. Again, my name is David Walls, and I'm the Deputy for Small Business at the Naval Undersea Warfare Center, Division Keyport. So we're one of 10 warfare centers within Naval Sea Systems Command, and we're one of 2 undersea warfare centers. So like our name says, our focus is all things underwater. So Keyport is located in Kitsap County. We're just north of Silverdale and south of Paulsbo, across the water from Seattle to kind of get your bearings. We are known as Torpedo Town, USA. We have a rich history here in the Kitsap Peninsula and with the development of the torpedoes. But Keyport, as time has gone on, our technology has evolved, and now we're, I don't know if you've looked at the local paper around here, the Sun, but our focus now is on the unmanned underwater vehicles. In fact, in that newspaper article, our captain was saying that maybe we should go away from Torpedo Town and be known as Unmanned Underwater Vehicle Town. So it doesn't have the same same ring to it, or say it doesn't come off the tongue as smoothly. But anyway, we are one of 2 undersea warfare centers within NAVC. And our mission is to provide technical capabilities for undersea warfare, and we do that through test and evaluation, in-service engineering, maintenance and industrial base support. And with that, that's we have the depot maintenance for our the torpedoes as well as the targets. Also fleet material readiness and logistics. So we have an Echelon 5 command out in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, that we are the contracting agency for them, but they oversee all of the logistics and warehouse support for all of the warfare centers within NAVC. We also, like I mentioned, the unmanned underwater vehicle support. Also, we have a large contract and acquisitions team here at Keyport. We do obsolescence management for those programs that are hard to find. Also, corporate operations. So the corporate operations side, that kind of helps run our bases, and there's a lot of personal service contracts that come along with that. And I'll be talking about some of those support contracts here in a little bit. Some of our technical capabilities, we have the Pacific Undersea Warfare Test and Evaluation Range and Test Facility Operations. So we do have 3 ranges that we maintain. They're undersea ranges where we do test our torpedoes. And with that, we have some range craft where they go out to shoot off those torpedoes when we're doing our testing. And those test ranges are right here in the Puget Sound area off of Dabob Bay. Also right off the coast of the in the Pacific Ocean, the coast of Washington State, we have a range. And then also in Canada, in British Columbia, we also team with the Canadian Royal Navy, and we have a range up there where we do some of our testing as well. We we maintain undersea weapon systems, in-service engineering, and we do a lot of technical and a lot of R&D type of work to help maintain and improve and evolve our underwater dominance for the Navy. So what we buy at Keyport, there's a whole lot of things that we buy. We do a lot of manufacturing needs, so metals, machinery, electronic components, IT hardware, fabrication. We also do a lot of professional services. The professional services, I touched on those earlier. We have a admin, program management, financial management task order that we have. Technology support, and technology support, that is our IT infrastructure as well as software support. We have engineering services that supports our depot maintenance. And here's some slides. Great. If you saw me looking to the left, it's because I'm glancing at my notes over here. But now you guys get to see it, so that's good. But engineering support, like I was telling, that's kind of our depot maintenance, as well as some of our in-service engineering support that we have. Property management support, I had mentioned earlier our logistics center out in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. That's where that contracting comes out of. And again, the property management support covers all of the different warfare centers throughout the Navy. Information, that's our software licensing and subscription. We do a lot of that, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit more through the NASA SOUP contract vehicle. Other types of services: calibration, repair, inspection, and overhaul. Manufacturing, you can see some of the things that we manufacture there. And also the construction. So construction is something new for us. if you're a construction company, I know you're probably really familiar with NAVFAC Northwest and working with Jim Niles on the small business side there. But Keyport is starting to do some smaller construction. So NAVFAC, they're still our primary contracting agency to do like major construction or demolition. But some of the smaller items we've kind of taken upon ourselves. So here's some of the things that we have done: the parking lot repainting, water backflow, boiler vent stack replacement. And we have some that are coming up that I wanted to touch on here. So we have the walkways, exterior lighting, those contract vehicles or contracts will be coming up, as well as providing drinking water fountains, ceiling insulation, installing new propane tanks, also fill and cap open trench in a high bay area. And also we're going to be looking at doing a painting IDIQ at Keyport. And that's an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity task order. And then we also are going to be replacing a roll-up door and roll-up screen doors as well. So those are just some of the upcoming contracts that we're going to be having that are on that construction side. Most of those contracts will be under the simplified acquisition threshold, which is that $250,000 to $10,000. So that's that threshold right there. Most of those will be small business set-asides. This next slide here is just give you a quick snapshot of the that Keyport really has a small business first approach. As you can see, we always hit our small business goals. There might be a socioeconomic category that we might just come under. This year, we're doing really well as far as hitting our small business goals. And we're right in the service disabled, veteran-owned small business and women-owned small business categories. But we are intending to meet those before the end of this fiscal year. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the contract vehicles, so anything that's under $10,000, we purchase under the purchase card program. I don't typically see those requirements. Those go directly from the requirement generator to our government credit card group. So I don't see those ones. Typically what they'll do is they'll do a quick market research through GSA to see if there's if they can find that item on GSA, and they'll go through the lowest price under GSA. Those hard to find items, they might do a Google search and then they'll call companies directly. But again, I don't typically see the purchase card items. Supplies over $10,000, supplies and services, $10,000 and above. Those are going to be on purchase orders, and I do see all of those. Those in contracts, they have to do a small business coordination, and that comes through my office. And we're just making sure that the market research was done to make sure we can set it aside for small businesses. Those items are always going to be posted. It says FedBizOps. FedBizOps is gone, so now it's on beta.sam. So beta.sam is where we post any action that's $10,000 or above. IT hardware, software, we do use the NASA SOUP contract vehicle. So if you're an IT hardware or software provider, and if you're not on NASA SOUP, that's okay. They open up every 5 years. And if you're not on there right now, you could still try to contact some of the current SOUP holders and see if you could be a subcontractor. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to wait until they reopen again and get your company in there. Services, we use Keyport Next Generation. So those services that I had mentioned earlier, the admin, program management, financial management, engineering services, IT services, all of those are gonna be posted on Keyport. Keyport is our multiple award contract. In order to be a prime contractor on any of those service types of contracts, you have to be a Keyport holder. Keyport, like NASA Soup, opens up every couple of years. Well, it opens up every 2 years, or Soup is like every 5 years. And they just opened it. So if you're not a Keyport holder right now and you want to in the future, you have time to start planning for that. If you want to be involved in the services that we provide at Keyport, you can always contact my office and I will provide you a list of Keyport MAC holders. And that way you could start building teaming relationships on some of our upcoming projects. Some of our upcoming projects on Keyport that I want to share about. We have an infrastructure support service contract. Infrastructure support is not IT related. Some people might think it's an IT contract, but it's not. That helps with that support supports our safety office, environmental office, facilities and engineering, and our transportation office and security. So that's infrastructure is not IT, but things that help our base run. In-service engineering, that's another one that's coming up. That is going to be covering our in-service engineering branch at Keyport. Both of those that I just mentioned are small business set-asides. So if you're interested in any of those are going to be on Keyport, but I could get you, like I said, I can get you some names of companies that maybe you could team with. We also have a maintenance and industrial support contract coming up on Keyport. That's going to be unrestricted. Again, that's going to be in our maintenance, our depot maintenance for our torpedoes. And that there's two other contract items I wanted to talk about. One you'll find on beta.sam. It's called Next Generation Gertrude. I have no idea how they came up with that name, but anyway, that is like an underwater communication system. So it's a sources sought right now, and sources sought, that's what we use to determine whether or not we can set something aside for small business. So if we get two small businesses that are interested and are technically capable, we could set that aside for small business. So right now it's in the sources sought phase. We also have the Mark 54 lightweight torpedo, unique kits and common parts. That one is in a solicitation right now. That is going to be full and open. It's going to be a fairly large contract. And that one, if you're interested in teaming, you can always contact me and I could try to get you some companies that you could start teaming with on that one. The slide that's showing right now is how you can contact me. I also put my contact information in the notes, and I look forward to hearing from you. And also one last plug, I have a Wednesdays with the Deputy for Small Business, the last Wednesday of every month. It's on Microsoft Teams. If you're interested in joining that monthly event, please email me and let me know. Just say you're interested in that event, and I'll put you on the registration. So thank you so much. I'm happy to be able to speak with everybody, and I'll be in the virtual rooms here meeting with anybody. So thank you, Leslie, for inviting me.
Well, thank you, David. And I apologize for not getting your slides up sooner. Sometimes I'm doing about 15 different things, spinning plates from one place to another. So thank you, and we'll see you over on Spot.
All right.
So, as we move on, our next event is actually with Pacific Northwest National Labs. And today we have Brianna Yee, who is in the Marine Sciences Laboratory, which is housed out of SWIM. And she's going to talk to you about what's new and exciting with PNNL.
Yes, thank you, Leslie, for that introduction. And actually, Jessica, do you mind if I share today? I think I'm going to be able to. So if I could share, that'd be great. Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, Yes, as Leslie said, my name is Brianna Yee, and I am the Small Business Program Manager for the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. And we are mainly located in Richland, Washington. So we are on the east side of Washington State. On the slide that you can see on your screen, that is an aerial overhead shot of our Tri-Cities campus. So our campus here in Richland, located on the Columbia River. If you've ever been out here, it is such a beautiful location. Most of our buildings that are on the river have windows that overlook it, and the rest of the campus is just super nice with cooling ponds and lots of outdoor spaces for staff to hang out in the nice months. But we do also have a satellite campus, as Leslie mentioned, one of our bigger satellite campuses in Sequim, Washington, and it is the Marine and Coastal Research Laboratory, which I'll talk to you a little bit more about today. Great, so to give you guys just a little bit more of an overview about what P&L is, a lot of times when I talk to suppliers and talk to vendors, they don't really know how to separate P&L from what the other Hanford contractors do. So to give you a little bit of an overview, P&L is one of the Department of Energy's national laboratories. So there are 17 throughout the country, and they're either categorized in Office of Science, Environmental Management, or Nuclear Security. So P&L is an Office of Science laboratory located primarily in Richland, but it also does have satellite offices in Portland and Seattle and Washington, D.C., in addition to that Sequim location as well. So we have a heavy presence throughout the country and within the DOE portfolio of the world-class laboratories that it operates. So our primary research is our primary focus and mission is in research and development, where some of the other Hanford contractors are focused primarily on the cleanup and protection of the radiological material that is still out here on the Hanford site. So P&L is co-located in Richland with these other Hanford contractors, but again, primarily focused on scientific discovery. So that would be within the earth sciences, chemistry, and data analytics field. Also with energy resiliency, which is one of our core components of our research, specifically within grid modernization, energy storage, renewable energy. And then also with a nuclear focus in our National Security Directorate on non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, physical protection of radiological material, and then also cybersecurity. We have a very heavy presence there. P&L is operated by Battelle Memorial Institute for the last 56 years. And so, it's really been or 66 years. It's really been a great opportunity to work for Battelle. They are able to do a lot of their own private research with use permits here at the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. So we have clients ranging from CDC or NIH all the way through to Department of Homeland Security. So a little bit more about P&L. We have about 5,000 staff that are spread out across our 5 main campuses. The majority of staff are here in Richland with a few more staff members located in Sequim. We do about $1.1 billion in spending every year, and a lot of our staff is mainly focused again in the national security related work. We do have a good mix of science and energy and environment staff, researchers, postdoc, grad students, and then a lot of different PhDs come to work at P&L after they have completed all their schooling as well. So we have quite a bit of invention disclosures, 340 and 1,280 peer-reviewed publications to date. So a little bit more high-level overview of what P&L does for its national security mission, non-proliferation of nuclear materials and nuclear weapons, radiological material monitoring and detection, and systems engineering and deployment. You'll see down in the bottom right-hand corner of this slide, a gentleman with his hands above his head. If you've flown through any airport, those X-ray machines where you put your hands above your head, we refer to that as the P&L salute around here. P&L invented the technology for that whole body scanning system. So next time you go through an airport, be sure to think about P&L. then also in the energy environment sector, we're doing quite a bit with energy grid and renewable energy in working on the grid modernization laboratory consortium project, just looking for better resiliency and security. You'll also know that what happened in Texas a few months ago when they had the bitterly cold snowstorm that they don't normally have. Energy security and emergency response, it's something that we're doing is to improve resiliency during extreme events. And then also related emergencies just for grid related emergencies. So to better help states and the country prepare for those types of extreme events and what impact they have to energy storage and the ability to put that out to residents. Of course, doing a lot in carbon management and fossil energy, again, with renewable energy. And then a little bit about our world-class research facilities. We're very fortunate to have our Environmental Molecular Sciences Laboratory here on site in Richland. That is one of the major user facilities for the Department of Energy for Office of Science, Biological and Environmental Research. One of the biggest mass spectrometers in the entire world is actually located in this building here in Richland, Washington. Our shallow underground lab, it's another interesting building that we have here on our Richland campus. It's actually located 39 feet underground, and it houses some of the world's most sensitive radiation detection systems for really great ultra low background R&D in support of some international treaty verification and search for dark matter. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have our Marine and Coastal Research Laboratory located in Sequim on the Olympic Peninsula, which is DOE's only marine sciences laboratory throughout their entire national laboratory system. So a little bit more about MCRL, just because you guys are primarily probably located in the on the west side of the state and in the location where you could fulfill some services that we have need for. Our Marine and Coastal Research Laboratory, it has direct access to the coastal ocean, ultra clean air and water. Research is being done there. We also have an aquatic and terrestrial interface, permitted in-water testing facility, permitted seawater intake and treatment facility. We have flow-through wet labs, ultra-trace chemistry labs, and then also some climate simulation ponds, as well as some great surface and subsurface research vessels. So there's quite a bit that's going on in our Marine Sciences Laboratory up in Sequim, just with a lot of water research and marine biology and climate research that's going on through our R&D up there. So to give you guys a little bit of an aerial shot of our Sequim campus, you'll see on the screen, we've got some buildings that are down actually on the waterfront, and we do have a dock, and we do have a waterfront location where we have boats that go and research vehicles that actually are aquatic and can go out from that dock that we own. Set back up from the coast, we do have laboratories and office buildings, as well as a welcome center that we're getting ready to build up in that location as well. So we've got buildings in two parts on this campus, and then you'll see where the trees are located in this picture, that's a no development zone. So that's something that we will not be expanding into that area. So on that note, we're actually looking to renovate quite a few of these buildings, including doing some additional capabilities with our waterfront. So in the next 3 to 5 years, we've got a lot of different projects, as you'll see on the screen. In the next 1 to 3 years, we're looking at creating a new storage building, which you'll see as number 5 on the graphic on your screen. We're also looking at building a new access road, and that would be number 7 on your screen, and a new water and sewer connection and distribution, which is number 9 on your screen as well. So those projects are anywhere from the $1 to $5 million range. And we're looking at different options for contract vehicles, whether they be design build, design bid build, or any combination of those independently. In the next 3 to 10 years, the dollar amounts obviously of these is still to be determined since they are 3 to 10 years out, still working through the planning in these projects. This is where we're looking to improve our waterfront capabilities. We're also looking to demo and build a new specialized high bay building located as number 3 down on the coastal line right there. Also building number 2 to renovate that. It'll be a demo and a building of a new data collection and analysis building. And then also number 4, which would be the demolition of the existing building and then the building of a new specialized laboratory on that footprint as well. And then also off the coastline on the main campus, building number 6 is indicated on the graphic. Existing laboratories that are in that building, that will just be a renovation of what's already existing, not a demo and rebuild, but still some opportunities and capabilities there. And then also looking at graphic number 8, and that would be the building of a new conference and collaboration center. So that should be something that will be a really fantastic addition to the SQUIM campus. Some other things really quick that we have going on our Richland campus. We have a new Energy Sciences Center that is coming up this fall. It should be open. It was a $90 million lab level line item, Department of Energy budget appropriation. This is a really great way to show partnership with the Department of Energy and their initiatives to roll out some additional capabilities in a center for accelerating scientific discovery and material sciences and computing in this building. And then also we have a grid storage launch pad that building is just getting started. We are in the planning process, but we have actually awarded this contract. It is in the process of being completed, and this grid storage facility will just be a really fantastic development for DOE's portfolio, as it will be a great way to really partner PNNL with a national priority for modernizing the power grid and unlocking really just an array of economic and environmental benefits. So again, this is also a DOE budget appropriation line item that has been awarded and passed down to PNNL. So pretty proud of that. It's really quick. That's what we're doing in some project planning space. So what we buy and how we buy it, much like what David was explaining to you, it's really straightforward. We purchase obviously the high risk and higher dollar goods and services on subcontracts or purchase orders. Low dollar goods is purchased through our P card. And then we also have a unique e-procurement program that we call business to business or B2B for commercial off-the-shelf materials. In typical purchases, we purchase a lot of scientific and laboratory equipment, energy and efficiency resources, whether that be equipment or it be services, staff augmentation. And then we also do a lot in security software systems and products, computational tools, IT services, and of course, construction and facilities infrastructure equipment. So you can see primarily what we're talking about today is construction. This is last year, and this will be a little bit different than fiscal year 2021, obviously because we are standing up our new ESC Energy Sciences Center and getting our grid storage launch pad off of the ground. And so last year we spent about $70 million in the construction space, and so it was one of our more one of our bigger dollar volume categories. We do as a federal M&O contractor, we do have small business goals as part of our prime contract that get flowed down to us from the Department of Energy, which is provided to them by the Small Business Administration. We do have a goal of 50% for small business in general, 5% for small disadvantaged and women owned, and then 3% for hub zone veteran owned and service disabled veteran owned. And much like any other M&O contractor or federal agency, it is difficult to find a lot of businesses in the hub zone, particularly, and also from time to time, we do struggle with our SDVO meeting that goal as well. So if your business is one of those two categories, definitely would like to talk to you about ways that we can partner. So just really quick, how can you do business with us? The most important thing that you do is go to our website and register in our acquisition supplier portal. That's a database where our contract specialists and procurement staff can go to look for companies who have requested to be part of a network of businesses that we can pull contact information from in order to create bidders list for solicitations and requests for proposals, as well as invitation for bids for construction projects. Definitely register your company in this portal with a lot of different information regarding your company, keywords and NAICS codes, and then also your contact information so that you can be sure that your company comes back in any search that might be related to what your company provides. And then just note for construction contractors doing work on the PNL campus, whether that's Richland or in SWIM, there are additional approvals that are required just for environment, safety and health, quality, financial performance, past performance, in order to be able to do that on-site work. Then also we have our own solicitations website. We post anything that is greater than $250,000 on the solicitations website. This was from Tuesday. I would definitely recommend that you check it every day. So I did notice that there are always new solicitations that are being posted every day. So be sure to bookmark our solicitations website and check it frequently. Look for our forecast either on the DOE acquisition forecast or on our PNL solicitations website as well. And then also, finally, make sure that your profile is up to date in the system for award management. So we frequently use SAM in order to determine responsibility, but also to look at a company's socioeconomic status before we put out an RFP or an IFB to any company on our bidders list, and also when creating that bidders list. And then take a few minutes to learn about us. This is one of the #1 things that I tell small businesses or any business looking to do work with us, is to learn about what we do in the different sectors of our research and how your company can best fit with what we are doing or what we have planning to do in the future, so that when you do send me your capability statement or you do reach out to a staff member here at PNL, you're already aware of and have done your homework as to how your capabilities can best fit what we're doing here at PNL. And then finally, provided with these slides is a list of resources and contacts. So again, I mentioned the acquisition supplier portal that's hyperlinked in here, our solicitations website as well, and then doing business with the procurement, a directorate listing. So this is the different directorates that we have available. We have a list available of the different services and goods that each one of them procures. So you can kind of also do that research to see where your company might best fit. And then our small business program website for some more information about doing business with PNL. And of course, my contact information. With that, are there any questions?
Well, thank you, Brianna. I think that if it's any indication, you know, on Tuesday, Brianna had her own private office over in Spot. And so if you have any questions, feel free to connect with Brianna over there. We really appreciate you coming again today and look forward to working with you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you, Leslie. And thank you, Jessica.
So up next, we have Dennis All from Kiewit. And Dennis is, he's got kind of a fancy title on here. He's the Coastal 29 Fish Passage Project Inclusion Manager. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dennis. And I know that he has a little slideshow that he's going to talk about here also. So it's all yours, Dennis.
Hey, thanks a lot, Leslie. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Hey, thank you. Hey, so I am Dennis All. I am the, they call me the MSV WBE Inclusion Manager for the Coastal 29 Fish Passage Project. I am with Kiewit. I'm actually here at the Federal Way Link office right now. working on a sound transit project, but I am anxious and waiting for this Coastal 29 project to kick off, because I think I could have been in Jefferson County in about 10 minutes this morning, but from my house and kind of by Naval Base Kitsap, but I wanted to come 90 minutes to here to the Federal Way Link and fight traffic. So looking forward to working with you small businesses out on the peninsula. So I just want to kind of click through some of the slides that our Chris Partial ran through the other day. I don't know as much as Chris does about this project, but I have been involved for a while, and there's going to be some opportunities for small businesses, minority owned, women owned, veteran owned. And this is kind of an overview of what we're doing. So there's some underneath WashDOT highways and state routes in Clallam, Jefferson, and Grays Harbor County. There's some fish passages that are not the way the fish and everybody likes to see them, and we're going to repair those. And it really is a project about the fish, is what Chris said the other day. So I appreciate you switching to that one. And this is kind of an idea of what the environment looks like over on the, as you know, on the Olympic Peninsula. So I'm glad you PTAC people are on here and small businesses from over there, and we're anxious to getting to know more of you. So, but this is kind of what the finished project or product might look like. Every one of these 29 different passages will have a slightly different design, and it's not fully designed yet. But this is one we did at I-5, and I think this is either California Creek up by Mount Vernon, or maybe farther north we did California Creek up by Bellingham. But this is a way, and this kind of gives you an idea where we got environmental and erosion control practices and supplies, and it's all about keeping the environment over there, especially on the tribal lands, you know, better than the way we found it. And we're going to need help with small businesses making that happen. So maybe you can kind of go to the next slide, and I'll show you where we're talking about. So we like this approach, and I think it was a WashDOT idea where there's a injunction where they have to repair and improve fish passages all across Washington State, including out on the Olympic Peninsula. But it's one contract that we broke up into smaller bundles, right? So it's kind of by region, and we're going to start off with bundle 1 down closer to Aberdeen, and we'll go jump up next to up closer to Port Angeles in bundle 2. So every one of those little numbers there is a fish passage site that'll have its own kind of challenges, and we'll need help at all these places, from truckers and civil subcontractors and environmental protection firms and suppliers, and I've just got to figure out ways to get help from locals out on the peninsula, and that's what part of this is about, is trying to learn who you are, and you can learn a little bit about Kiewit. So maybe switch to the next slide. We can kind of I like the pictures, and this is kind of what we're telling you. This is a typical spot, and that's why the environment and keeping care of the tribal lands is so important, because these places are absolutely beautiful, as most of you already know. And I'm looking forward to being able to work closer to home. So I'm anxious. This work will be a little ways away, but this is kind of the environment we're working in. So there'll be access issues, but more than anything, we're going to try to protect the environment and improve it and leave it better than we found it. So that's one of our main goals over there. Go ahead and go to the next one. So in here, we're kind of, this is from Google Earth. We were kind of telling you kind of the typical bridges that we're going to have to build to have a better passageway and improve on survival rates for the salmon, to getting back to their historical spawning grounds. And this is one spot, they call it Site 21. So we will have to work with the tribes. We're going to be looking for tribal partners and tribal members who want to work on the job, and we'll be looking for subcontractors on the peninsula. So if that's you, I'm hoping we'll be able to hook up here in the next little bit. So go to the next one. And just kind of tells you that I'm just showing you where we're at, and the importance of being able to partner with local landowners and getting access to their property. And so we've got some early works for the stream teams and the people working on permits. So there's quite a bit of legwork to do ahead of time before we can actually start construction at the end of 2022 and and most of it in 2023. So go ahead and switch to the next one. And this kind of just gives you an idea of how we need to restore the streams to their original habitat, and ways to protect the existing streams. So you'll see sandbags and ecology fences there in the back, and people that supply that and know how to install that. We're Kiewit and we're big, and we like to think we can do everything, but we'll defer to the small businesses and the local people that know how to do these type of things probably better than us. And it's a way we can get all these 29 sites built within the time frame that WashDOT requires, and we're really looking forward to the opportunity. So okay, so next one. So this is an existing site on another WashDOT job that we did here this last year, and I think that was kind of one of the reasons WashDOT picked us, because we had 2 other WashDOT fish passage projects that we finished separate contracts in this past year. Plus we were doing one at Joint Base Lewis McChord, and then I'm actually with the Kiewit Bridge and Marine District, and we were doing a fish passage project for the Army Corps of Engineers up on the White River. So we get to work in some beautiful spots, and we're hoping to make them look better and improve the fish survival rate going forward. So, but here this kind of shows you some of the scopes. So we'll hire small business subcontractors to do some of the earthworks and the civil work with the hose and the rollers that you see there. So we do that work, but we also like to work with small businesses, and it gives them a chance to kind of work as proteges under us and learn how to work on a big Kiewit project, as you know, to learn how the way we've been doing things for over 125 years. So next slide. And here shows we're putting in some concrete pieces that became the culvert or the passage for the fish on one of our other jobs. So we've got cranes, we've got surveyors, we've got concrete subcontractors, we've got precast, and it's any number of typical heavy constructions, civil heavy construction scopes, and we're going to need partners in all these work areas. So next slide, please. Oh yeah, so and this one was kind of and there's temporary things they're gonna have to put up. This was a temporary bridge we had to put up up near I-5 on one of those other fish passage projects. You had to let traffic get by while we're doing the construction. So if you're a bridge builder or a metal fabricator, there's going to be opportunities for you on this next job. So, and then the next picture kind of shows you one of our other scopes. So on every one of these jobs, especially out on the peninsula, you know, on SR 109 and SR 101, we've got to keep traffic flowing, and especially in the summer when they're tourist season, we've got work to do, but we'll have flaggers and traffic control and signage, and you can see the erosion control and those kind of things, and temporary barrier, so we can keep traffic moving and employ some of the small businesses and get the work done all at the same time. So next slide. And there again, that's kind of some of your natural habitat. You know, when we return the stream the way it was after the structure's built, the fish like to see, you know, something that they're used to seeing, and we've got to return the stream to the natural state that they had over the years. That's been kind of impacted by past practices, and we're here to do something better and make it better for the residents over there, and especially for the fish. And that's the one. I think I'm getting closer to the end, but personally, I've been working on fish improvement projects on the Columbia River and the Snake River, and now on the peninsula and over here for almost 5 decades. And it's just something, part of my job, even as a contractor, small business person. I'm proud of the things we've done and the opportunities that the tribes and the agencies have given us. So, and that's kind of a finished product of how there's a new passage underneath the state route with the stream kind of restored the way we want to leave it out on the peninsula, out on the Olympic Peninsula. So, well, that is California Creek. So I really appreciate the the time you gave me today. We were on again, the other day, Tuesday, and you gave it a presentation. The work is a little ways away, but I think through Leslie and Jessica, and I saw Lily on there, if you got questions for me or emails, you could call me or email me anytime. And I don't know all the answers for this when, about specifics about the work, but I can get you to the right people, and I'm a good point of contact. So I think that's what I have, Leslie, if that's all right.
All right, well, thank you, Dennis. We really appreciate a review of Kiewit's work and upcoming projects. And moving on, we have the Fish Passage Project, which includes Jacobs Engineering and Natural Waters LLC. So today we have Shannon Kane, who does Northwest Business Development for Jacobs Engineering. We have Jason Smith, who does Northwest Environmental Market Leader. And then from Natural Waters, we have Casey Kramer, who is the principal engineer and owner of Natural Waters LLC. So thank you guys for coming, and we'll let you just give us a good overview as to what's going on.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. We're delighted to be included today. So we were invited to talk about some of the work that we're doing and pursuing with WashDOT as part of the agency's Fish Passage program, which includes a huge number of projects being delivered in multiple different ways through several different regions. So it's a massive program, but there is a significant amount of work concentrated on the peninsula. So I do sales and business development type stuff for Jacobs. So right now my focus is on those imminent fish passage opportunities. And so my role is to help connect the team with small businesses. And when we are talking about small businesses, largely that's SBEs, MBEs, WBEs, and BBEs. Who do consulting type work. So Jacobs is different from some of the others you've heard from today. So we are a consulting firm. We do everything from planning and environmental services through construction management type services. So the types of partners we're looking for are a little different, I think, from some of the others you've heard from today. But I'm doing a lot of talking. Jason and Casey, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'll kind of jump in really quick if that's okay. And then if it's okay, can I share my screen? I've got a little bit of information that was from an industry day that WashDOT provided, and I can just cover that really quick so that everybody's on the same page with the scope of the program. So I'm gonna give that a shot here really quick and see if I can just
Casey, you're ready to go.
Okay, great, thank you. Can you guys see it?
Coming up. There it is.
There you go.
It shows that it's sharing, so hopefully you guys can. So again, this is WashDOT's presentation that they put together to kind of bring everybody up to speed, but it is kind of the newest state of affairs affiliated with their plan for the overall implementation of the Fish Passage program. So as Shannon indicated, my name is Jason Smith. I manage the planning and environmental sciences component of Jacobs in the Northwest. But what my resume doesn't say is I spent about a little over 20 years with Washington Department of Transportation, working with all phases of construction. So I'll kind of go down through this a little bit. This is the permanent injunction area that we're talking about when we talk about the overall Fish Passage program that WashDOT is addressing. And then within that, there are a lot of individual barriers. And so the previous gentleman with Kiewit was talking about some of the projects out on the peninsula affiliated with the Coastal 29 Design Build program. Those are included in this. And then I just thought I'd go over the size of the program really quick. This is the first time WashDOT had rolled this out. They're on a biennial cycle. So every June, the end of June, so every July 1st, they start a brand new cycle. And so this is their spending plan affiliated with that. You can see it's a very large program over the course of the next 9 years. and roughly in the neighborhood of about $3.1 billion that they're looking at spending over that time period through 2030. And then this is a breakdown of the work that they're looking at in 2021, 2023. Again, this is WashDOT's information and it's available on their website if you'd like to reach out. There's a lot more slides that I'm showing you today, but just to give you a quick overview, if you're interested in the area within Olympic region, which includes the Olympic Peninsula, there's a breakdown of what they're looking at in 21, 23. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different projects here. The DBB stands for Design Bid Build. So they're looking at going out to procurement through a normal process. The design build is something similar to the Coastal 29 one that Kiewit was talking about. And you can see there's a lot of work here. And so the kinds of work that Jacobs would be doing, there's the same with Northwest region as well. And there's a way to get pre-qualified in WashDOT's system if you go to their website. So I'm going to stop sharing if that's okay. That information is available on WashDOT's website. But like Shannon indicated, we have Jacobs is a design team, a design group. We do everything from planning through early preliminary design and environmental analysis into construction, through full design into construction and construction management, or even operations and maintenance, where we're working with the client or with contractors like Kiewit and others. Now, I'm going to introduce really quick Casey Kramer. He's a partner of ours, represents a small business. I happen to have the benefit of working with Casey when I was at WashDOT, so we've known each other for a long time, and we've done a lot of these types of projects when we were with the agency, and then also now that we're both in the consulting portion of the organization. Casey, did you want to say something and maybe your experience working with Jacobs?
Yeah, no, thanks, Jason. Thanks, Shannon. And yeah, it's good to see some familiar names. I see Joe on here, which I haven't talked with Joe in a while, but yeah, it's good to be. And thanks to Lily and Jessica for inviting us to kind of come up and talk with Clallam County area. For those that don't recognize it, that's the Elwha Bridge behind me. So yeah, trying to represent Clallam County and Jefferson County up there. But yes, Natural Waters is a small business that has been partnering with Jacobs, focusing in on the river morphology, the hydraulics, and really anywhere water meets in highway infrastructure. That's the area that we focus on. So yeah, definitely looking forward to partnering with Jacobs and supporting WashDOT on this fish passage program. Like Jason said, it is a very large program. It does cover at the state, but a lot of the focus right now, as the map indicated that Jason brought up and Kiewit brought up, the large focus is on the Puget Sound area. And I think all three of us will be available during the spot webinar, just to kind of do more networking. And anybody has any questions at that time, feel free to ask now or during that session as well.
Yeah, we can talk about projects that we're currently delivering and or that we're looking at pursuing. And then I think through Shannon, we can provide contact information if you'd like to reach out to Jacobs and be considered for some of our work.
Yeah, absolutely. I can actually, maybe the best way to do that, I think, if you want to get in contact, I can either drop contact information into the chat or you can reach out through the folks who have put this event on, and they can put you in touch with us. I'll go ahead and put my email address though in the chat.
Thank you for bringing your team to present to us today. Yeah, of all of the upcoming events, I know that the Fish Passage projects have a tremendous impact on Clallam County and the Olympic Peninsula as a whole. So we really appreciate you coming and speaking to our group, and we look forward to visiting with you over on Spot. So thank you very much. So next we have Skanska, and Jackie Gafucci is the compliance officer for Skanska USA Civil West. And she's gonna give you another quick overview of Skanska's Northwest. So go ahead, Jackie.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Leslie. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having us today. Leslie, are you going to put the presentation, or can I just give them an overview of what we have available for procurement?
I have your presentation, and I'll share my screen. So
thank you, Leslie.
Bear with me a second here. Okay, we're good to go.
Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that. For those of you that didn't have the opportunity to join us on Tuesday, my name is Jackie Gilfucci, and I am the compliance officer for Skanska. I am based out of Riverside, California, and on my role, I have about 14 projects in my profile, and I am just specializing on DBE compliance and all of the federal, state, and local projects that Skanska have on the West region. Next, please. So a lot of people ask, who is Skanska? So we actually have 4 business units, but here in the United States, we only have 3. So today I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the 3 mains that we have, which is Skanska USA Building and Skanska USA Civil and the Skanska Infrastructure Development. Skanska is one of the world's leading companies in project development and construction worldwide. We have approximate over 40,000 employees worldwide and about 14,000 just in the US. Our global headquarters, they are in Stockholm, Sweden, and our main headquarters in the United States is at the Bulova office in Queens, New York. Next, please. So I don't have Robin with me today. She will have some prior commitments, but they do have a lot of opportunities. If you could please, Leslie, pass. So right now we are on the Microsoft Campus project. This is a $5 billion project, and it's a partnership with Balfour Beatty. Next, please. And this is an ongoing project with a lot of opportunities, and we cannot list all of the opportunities that we have because this is a massive project. So if you don't see your scope of work and you're still interested in bidding on all of the upcoming packages that we have, I will have Robin Strom contact information at the end of this presentation. Next. We are coming up to a new project that is going to be bidding very soon, which is the Asagua High School and the Elementary School 17. And if you can see, we couldn't share the picture because it's a non-disclosure agreement project, but you can see on the screen the opportunities that we have. And in addition to those opportunities, we have additional ones that we don't have it listed in here. Next, please. Next. So this is my area, okay? So we have upcoming 2 projects with WashDOT, and we would like to encourage the community to bid on these heavy civil projects. They have a voluntary goal of 26%, and it is divided in multiple categories. I recently managed a project with Sound Transit, which is the Link Extension L300. And this is an ongoing project that we have, and we still have 2 more years on this job. And I still have some opportunities available. This project is not being highlighted on this presentation because we are on hold right now from bidding, but in the next few months, we're gonna be able to list all of the upcoming opportunities for these projects. Next, please. So going back to this WashDOT project, here you can see the amount of opportunities that we offer to small businesses. In addition to all these opportunities, we work very hard with the small businesses to break up the packages, to make them more attractive to the small businesses. We like to mentorship the DBEs. We provide a lot of support, a lot of training. especially in emphasis in compliance. That's one of the areas that we feel that most of the small businesses, they don't understand how the regulations work. And sometimes they have the tendency to blame the prime, but it's not the prime, it's just that the regulation is very stringent with the primes. So we offer a big package that is very appealing to the small businesses so they can come and work with us. Like on the L300, I right now I have over 230 small businesses and DBE working on this job. And these are repeating small businesses because they have done a great job with Skanska. They have graduated from the building blocks and the small business program with Skanska. And we have been able to successfully mentor them. Next, please. So one of the subcontracting requirements in some of the Skanska projects, this is not specifically to the WashDOT project, is that, of course, we require insurance and bonding. The owners requires the same thing. If we have a project that has labor agreement, we actually require that the contractor, the small business, is part of the project labor agreement. Most of the projects, they hold prevailing wage. Subcontractors, they are required to submit certified payroll. We always require copies of their certifications. It is important for us to verify their NEXCOs. The NEXCOs is a gray area, and sometimes, just because you're certified as a DBE or SBE or MWBE or WBE doesn't mean that you are qualified to do a particular scope of work. So it is important for me to review those NEXCOs, and especially on suppliers. I like to do a lot of site visit with suppliers to make sure that they're actually qualified to provide a particular supply on a particular project. There's many ways to reach us. If you have any questions, you can feel free to call me. If you want to have a one-on-one with me, I'll be more than happy to set a date and time with you. You can always send us an email to bits.soucal@skanska.com, or you can send an email to our lead estimator, Jerome DiPadova, at skanska.com. Next. So Skanska, on the majority of the projects, we use Building Connected for all of our procurement. So if you're very familiar with Building Connected, it's a great tool it's a great bridge between small businesses and prime contractors that allows you to register. So you can receive all the invitations to bid to all of the Skanska projects. You will have access to all of our bid documents, the packages, any notifications. If you need to have a chat with our estimators on a specific package, you feel free to do that as well. You can also submit your proposal. So if you would like to receive an invitation, you just send us an email and we'll be more than happy to include you in our registration list. Next, please. So any questions? If you're looking for opportunities on the building side, feel free to contact Ms. Robin Strom. The information is on the screen. And if you would like to look for some opportunities on the Skanska USA Civil, I'm here for you unconditionally. So please feel free to call me or send me an email. And that's all I have. Thank you so much, Leslie, and thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, Jackie. We will have these slides available in our digital Dropbox. And so all that contact information will be made available to you quickly. So next we have Vanner Construction. And today we have Craig Fulton, who's the Project Director of Operations. And Craig's gonna give us a 30,000-foot flyover.
Thank you much, Jessica and Leslie and Lily and everybody who's set this up. Again, yeah, Craig Fulton. I'm the project director for the Vanner Port Angeles office. We're located in downtown Port Angeles. I have to start out with saying I have no money and I have no projects. So what am I doing here talking to folks on opportunities? Well, let me tell you about Vanner. Vanner is a project management firm. We assist owners and clients who have the money, who have the projects. We assist them on how to execute the projects, from developing the entire program to project management, design management, procurement management, and then ultimately construction management. So in those roles, we understand that the owner has either aspirations of hiring local contractors or mandatory requirements for hiring set-asides. And so we assist those clients and owners meet those aspirations or meet those regulatory requirements, as Port Angeles and SQUIM and the port have already talked about. In that role, to give you an example, how we can assist you all is we had a project with the SQUIM school district. That contractor needed a painter, a landscaper, and a quick reaction excavator. We reached out to the North Peninsula Builders Association, which everybody should be a member of. And working with them, we were able to line up those local contractors, subcontractors to assist the prime contractors. Also, we've had clients say, hey, I need a local contractor who can do roofing, or I need a local contractor who can do HVAC. By us having this knowledge of local talent, we can then offer that up and guide the owners and clients on opportunities to hire local. Right now, we're working with the port, the Peninsula Housing Authority on renovating for their apartments. And again, we're helping that prime contractor hire local subcontractors. Some of our projects we've got going on, we're working with the Quileute tribe in the construction of their new school in La Push. We're working with the city of Port Angeles on their Race Street project, guiding them through that procurement and construction of phase 1. And there's a phase 2. So get involved, find out about these capital improvement plans that they have out there, so you know what's happening in the next 5 years. We've worked with the SQUIM school district. We hope to work with the Port Angeles School District in the future. We're building a hangar out at the airport here in Port Angeles, and we're working with Platypus and constructing a new maintenance facility. So we have our hands in a lot of buckets. And when we know of local contracting talent out there, we guide the clients and the owners to get that local talent. So let us know what you do out there. Last Tuesday, Tom Reese isn't here right now, but he gave a presentation on marketing and networking. And I'm sure you're able to go and watch that video where you can learn about his thoughts on marketing and networking. It's critical, even on municipal projects, state projects, federal projects where it's low bid. You need to market and network if you're a subcontractor to know all the prime contractors so they know you. You need to know what projects are coming up in the next 2 years so you can get familiar with those projects and the scope of the projects ahead of time and not wait till you're asked for a proposal. Join the North Peninsula Builders Association, join Port Angeles Business Association, the Chamber. So you network and you network with me, and I know you're out there and I can slot you into contractors. The other big thing for projects, you don't want to just deliver what the client asks for. You want to deliver solutions, ideas to go above and beyond what the client is asking for. So when they have another project, they're going to be reaching out to you and not your competitor when they can. Project delivery, add value every time to every project you're on. And again, develop relationships. And I think that's about what I wanted to cover. We're looking to continue to, there's a lot, as all the municipalities have said in the county, there's a lot of work coming up in the next couple of years with the federal government grants and so forth. So stay tuned and network to get ahead of your competition. That's what I've got.
All right. Thank you, Craig. It's so encouraging to have such stellar representation from all of these agencies and primes. And so we're about ready to wind this up, but we have one more presenter. And this is OMWBE, the Office of Women in Business Enterprises. And today we have Caleb McInvale, who is a Certification Outreach and Link Deposit Coordinator. And in all of the projects, there's a common denominator that goes, city, county, state, federal, and it has to do with certifications, primarily for set-asides. And this is what Caleb's going to talk to you about today. So thanks, Caleb, for coming.
Well, thank you for being here and thanks for inviting me. As Leslie said, my name is Caleb McInvale and I'm with the Washington State Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises. Some of you were here before, you might have seen some of this information already. Go ahead and share my screen here just really quickly. One moment. Make sure I can get the right thing here going here. One second. There we go. All right, you all should see my screen now. I'm going to go a little bit over about what our agency does, what our certifications are, what the certification qualifications are, what the application looks like, and then hopefully have a little bit of time for questions. I'm probably going to talk a little bit fast. I'm just because I've got a lot of information to cover, but I will be able to share this presentation with you all. I'm going to send it to Leslie right after this, but. So we're part of the state government, OMWB, we're the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises. We certify women and minority-owned businesses, but also other small businesses as well. And we work with the state to be equitable in its contracting practices. And a number of different contractors are talking about today. They're talking about small business, they're talking about WBE, they're talking about MBE, they're talking about DBE. Almost all of those certifications are going to be performed by our office. The only one that isn't is for small businesses in one context, and I'll explain that in just a second. But the vast majority of certifications in Washington State for working with state government are done by our office. So we are making sure that these small businesses meet the criteria and are eligible for those certifications. And we have two primary certification types that we offer. One of them is the federal certification. This isn't for working directly with the federal government. This is working for federally funded state work. It's all going to be in the transportation sector. Most of these fish passage projects that were mentioned earlier don't have federal funding, but there's still a lot of infrastructure work in and around the Puget Sound area that has federal funding. And so there's a large, if you're interested in working on some of that, you'll want to get the DBE certification, which some of the contractors have been mentioning. We also have our state certification, which is the M and WB certification, MWB certification. That's for working generally on state-funded work, like some of those fish projects and some others. Also, if you're certified as a state under our state certification, you automatically qualify for all small business set-asides and programs in Washington State as well. We do have a federal small business certification as well. You can see here the different certification types that we offer. I did mention that DBE certification. That's for federally funded transportation projects for women and minority-owned businesses, and that can make your business very competitive. There's also the small business enterprise SBE certification. That's generally applicable to anyone who has a small business. So it's race and gender neutral. People of any race or gender can qualify for that program. And then our state certification, those different types that I mentioned, like MBE, MWB, WBE, they're all the same. They're just broken down by the demographics of the business owner, whether the owner's a minority or a woman in this case. But there's those two programs, and businesses can get both certifications if they're interested in potentially working on some federally funded work and some state funded work. And the reason why you want to get these certifications is it makes your business more competitive. It can give you a leg up over your competition. You still need to network, you still need to do good work and things like that. But there's a big push from the governor in Washington State to spend more money statewide with small businesses and with women and minority-owned businesses. So if you qualify for one of these programs, you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't get your company certified, because you're potentially, leaving yourself out from work that could benefit your company. And then also, as from the state level, from the agencies want to accurately capture who they're spending money with, to make sure that we have a good picture of how equitable we're being as a state. So for the federally funded projects, that's a lot of infrastructure work, as I mentioned. There's all have mandatory participation goals on them, which means that your business is incredibly desirable on those projects, because if the prime contractor can't meet the goal, or the prime consultant, then that contractor or consultant could potentially face monetary sanctions if they don't get enough participation on that project. So there's a very strong incentive to work with federally certified businesses on those projects. It's similar with the state program as well. There's a big push for tracking of spending on women and minority-owned businesses particularly, but also some small businesses as well. And it's any one of those businesses across a wide variety of different types of work. There's not monetary penalties that are imposed there, but we do track that and make sure that each state agency is spending more money with women and minority-owned businesses and with small businesses every year, make sure that that's capturing an accurate selection of the population. There's also some private companies that will use our certification, but that's not the main focus of them. Also, it's very cheap advertising for your business to be certified, because every business that gets certified gets posted on our public directory that primes, contractors, agencies can search and then find your business. You still want to network and advertise in other ways, but that can be a great way to get your business some additional visibility. We also do have a loan assistance program that's available for state certified businesses too. And if you have questions about that, you can contact me. So who is eligible for certification? First of all, businesses have to be small. It's a pretty healthy limit. So as long as you're not a very large business, you will be eligible for this program. The limit generally, it does shift depending somewhat on your industry, but there's an overall limit of gross receipts of $23.98 million. So you have to be a pretty large business not to qualify for this. You also have to be licensed to do business in Washington, and to be able to independently perform your business's services without too much overdue assistance from some other company. There's no tenure requirement. You can be a very new business and get certified. So for all of our certifications, except for that federal small business certification, they're typically for women or minority-owned businesses, unless you can show on a case-by-case basis that you're been discriminated against in the United States. But eligible people, so typically women or minorities, have to own the majority of the business, and they also have to control the company. So they have to be running the show. They have to be calling the shots, making those decisions for the business and not letting someone else run it for them. And then also, regardless of the certification type that we're working with, whether it's that, small business certification or the like women or minority-owned business certifications, to be eligible, individuals have to have a net worth of less than $1.32 million. It's not listed here, but you can also register as a small business through the Department of Enterprise Services for state-funded work, and that's a relatively quick process that you can sort of self-identify as a small business for any state-funded work, regardless of whether you're regardless of your race or gender. You can go ahead and do that, and that's also a benefit for any small business to take advantage of, just so you can make sure that you're gaining that benefit. And I'll put the link for that in the chat as well. So for our applications, though, it's an all online process. It's available on our website, and you can from there you can start your application, create an account for your business, and you'll have the choice of doing a state or a federal application. If you do want both the state and the federal certifications, you can get both with one application just by selecting the federal certification application. And it'll save your work, so you don't have to complete it all in one sitting. There are some small fees that are associated with the certification. The federal certification is $25 to apply and $20 for its annual renewal. And the state certification, there's a range from $50 to $100, depending on the type of business you have. That's only once every 3 years. But as I mentioned, if you do want to get both at the same time, you just submit that federal application and you pay that one fee. But that's about it for all I have today. Running a little behind, so I want to make sure I covered everything. But if any part during the process, if you're interested in certifications, you want to learn more, please go ahead and contact us. We're in the interest of getting companies certified that are eligible. So we want to make sure every company that can get through the process does. So we want to make this as easy as possible for you. So please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Caleb. It was really great having so many great agencies here today. And Caleb, we look forward to working with you down the road. So thank you for coming. And we did have a section for NAVFAC Northwest with Jim Niles, but he had a family emergency today and he wasn't able to attend. And I did find some current contracts that they're working on. And I will post that on our Dropbox in our resource folder. So, and I will also make available to all the attendees his contact information. And he said to make sure that that he would have been here, but he'll connect with you, as soon as he can. So with that, we want to do a formal thank you to all the participants and our team. Washington PTAC has done a lot to support this program throughout the last couple months. Lily Keefe from Northwest SBTRC, Colleen McAleer from Clallam Economic Development Agency, Thomas Hunter, City of Port Angeles, Matt Klontz from City of Sequim, Chris Hartman from Port of Port Angeles, Joe Denisi from Clallam County, Tom Martin and Mike Hill, both from Clallam PUD, Janet Toph from Sbdc, and then the primes who came back today, David Waltz from Naval Undersea Warfare Center Division Keyport, Brianna Yee from PNNL, Dennis All from Kiewit, Shannon Kane, Jason Smith, and Casey Kramer on the Fish Passage Project representing Jacobs Engineering and Natural Waters LLC, Jackie Gilfucci from Skanska, Craig Fulton from Vanner, and last but not least, Caleb McInvale from OMWBE. So with that, we want to thank everybody for coming and attending our event. So again, thank you guys for coming, and hope to see you again down the road. Thank you so much.